Tonight, Ben White had only scored a maximum of 2 goals in any season in his career. He's just scored 2 in 1 game, and you mentioned his all-round game, but that first goal from Ben White in the beginning of the second half was important, as he said there, to settle everybody down.
You felt like we needed that simply because the way Chelsea were playing, they were breaking, they're doing well, so that this goal would settle everybody down. But like the marking gaffer here, you know.
Yeah, from a Chelsea point of view, Glenn,
Chelsea's point of view, I mean, that is just schoolboy defending. I don't know why they've not sent somebody out to take the corner so quickly and so easy. Gilchrist gets caught on his heels, doesn't go there quick enough, and there's too much space there for Rice, of all people, on the edge of the box. Look at the space that he's got. All right, he doesn't quite catch it, but the ricochet falls to White, and to be fair, he's finished that like a striker.
Yeah.
He's not panicked at all. He's kept nice and calm, kept over the ball and just curled it in the bottom corner. It was a good finish.
It was a very easy goal when you consider the first half that they had chances. You could see there was a sniff. If they stayed in the game, they could have got a little bit, like the pressure in the crowd might have rose from them, but they didn't do it. They didn't come out with any kind of intention to do that, and that goal was a very easy goal to score, and then bam, it is over from there.
Yeah, so he got 2 in a game for the first time in his career. He was asked about it there. A little wry smile said about you described it as he shinned it. He didn't mean it, did he?
Well, he didn't mean it, no. I think they were having a little laugh with him as well when they were celebrating, when they're all hitting him on the head.
Yeah.
I think that says it all. But give credit where it's due. We said before the game, he sort of plays in a 3 sometimes, but when they're on the attack, he's prepared to make that little darting run. Sterling goes to sleep completely. Lovely little clip ball there from Odegaard. And he's trying to find the back post because there's 2 Arsenal players on the back post, spare. And this is the ball that he's prepared to get there. He makes the run, and Odegaard sees him. He's trying to play that into the back post. Yeah. It just comes off his shoe.
You know something? He's actually caught it on his boot gaffer there, but like it's almost on his ankle. But like, he's caught it. That wouldn't have reached any of those players. It would have been a terrible ball because I think it would have missed everyone. So he's having that kind of game. He's laughing himself.
Smile on his
he's having that kind of game where it's come off his leg and it's gone in the net. But like, he deserved that with the way he played tonight.
Yeah.
No, without a doubt. And as I was saying, he's done it on a few occasions, isn't he? You see him just... What I like about it, the shape that they play, is that he arrives there probably 2 or 3 times, not all the time.
Right, let's go back to the Emirates and speak to the Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta, who's waiting to speak to us. Mikel, very well done tonight. We were just saying, it's your night when your fullback Ben White scores 2. He's only scored 2 in his career in 1 season before tonight.
Yeah. That means it's a special night, and Ben made it really special. But I think it was a really good performance collectively from the team, and really happy with the results, obviously.
What impressed you the most tonight? Because you were really ruthless in that second half, weren't you?
Yes, I think we started the game really well. Created many chances. We didn't convert all of them. I think the score could have been different. Then we were a bit sloppy in certain areas of the pitch, especially with the ball, and not defending the box in the right way. And we conceded 2 chances because when you leave them a space, there are some great individual assets that can cause you problems. In the second half, we were much more disciplined, created chances, really ruthless in front of goal, and I'm very happy for the clean sheet as well.
Mikel, Ian Wright, congratulations on a great result.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say half-time, because it seemed 1-0 is never a safe score to be going in with. What was said to them at half-time?
Well, to continue to do a lot of the things that we were doing, we had to adjust one thing, especially in the high press, with something they were trying to do, and then when we were deeper, the discipline in the box, because we gave something away that I wasn't happy with. And then, a few things in attack as well, because there were some spaces. I was sure they was going to come out and try to be more aggressive, especially inside, and we took advantage of that and scored some goals.
Yeah, Glenn Hoddle here. Congratulations on a great performance.
Thank you.
Just a little question from a manager's point of view. It seems now that you have got the perfect balance between the way you're defending and the way that you can open teams up. You must be really delighted with that balance.
Yeah, I was really happy, and today we made some changes. Thomas came in the team after a long time that we've been missing him, and I think had a great impact in the team. And then we have to utilize the players that we have. We have every member of the squad, apart from Jurgen Timber, available, and a very strong squad, and I'm really happy with the impact of everybody.
And Mikel, again, when I spoke to you on Saturday evening, we talked about sharing the goals around. And we talked about Ben White. Another 2 for Kai Havertz as well tonight.
Yeah, it's great. It was an amazing performance against for Kai, and scoring the 2 goals that he scored. He could have scored 3 or 4, but he contributed in every way, in every phase of play. And again, in general, you don't score 5 goals in the team doesn't perform the way they did. So really happy with that.
And at this stage, that's your biggest ever Premier League win over Chelsea, by the way. What does that just do in terms of this one team on and off the pitch that you keep talking about?
I'm really happy. I think we made our people very proud. It's a big derby for us, and I know what it means. And hopefully they enjoyed it. Let's enjoy tonight, and let's go back to work because we have a big one on Sunday.
Yeah, you two looking forward to that in here, aren't you?
Yes, we do, yes.
Just finally, you've done your bit. You're 4 points clear of City, and that's all you can do, isn't it? Just try and ask your former friend, the manager.
We have to do our job and now watch the TV and see what happens. That's all.
Enjoy tonight, Mikel. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you, Rick.
That's Mikel Arteta live at the Emirates, and what a fillip that is ahead of that huge game on Sunday.
Yeah, it is. But again, you know, as much as I think Arsenal were very ruthless, we saw the dangers in the first half, what could have happened if Chelsea had a striker who could finish. The fact is that they took their opportunity, they played very well, and in the second half, they really punished Chelsea. But again, Chelsea without their best player, you know, they looked like a real easy touch tonight.
We touched on the centre-forward situation before the game. We touched upon Kai Havertz playing centrally.
Yeah.
As I said to him there, he's got another 2 goals. He's up to 13 for the season.
Well, as the striker, he's the main striker, and you know what's good about what he's doing is he's in the place where he can attack. Like with this pass here from Odegaard, I think his touches are fantastic. The run's great. He's got good strength holding off. That touch there was brilliant, and then Cucurella doesn't make a challenge. He falls over in the end. But I think the pass, you know something, I think that was actually a foul. If I'm going to be totally honest with Gabriel, I think that he's got it there, Gaffer. I think he's got him. He's caught him on the ball. I can't understand why that is something that's not looked at. But once that's done, and you look at Odegaard in oceans of space, and then Havertz makes the run brilliantly, the back of Badashile, and then it's the touches, keeps it away from him onto his strong foot, and then it's a good finish.
He still had a lot to do, didn't he? It was a great ball from Odegaard, but just the way he took it away from Cucurella and keeps a cool head again, and that's the difference. When a player's confident, he's going in there, he's thinking about scoring, he's believing he's going to score.
Absolutely.
When it's not going your way, you have too many thoughts going through your head.
This is another one. Look at he opens himself out beautifully, and then it's just the eyes go. Look, he knows exactly what he's doing there. When you look at it from a certain angle, it actually looks like he could go over to the goalie's left, but he's in such confident form. Like the gaffer said, you can do these things. Look one way, put it the other way. Look, great goal. Yeah,
and it's not only his body shape. His body shape there looks. Everyone in the stadium thinks he's putting it to the goalkeeper's right. No, he doesn't. He just screws it back in that bottom corner. Keeper can't do a thing. He's made some great saves as well today. Couldn't get anywhere near that.
He would have enjoyed that against his former club as well, 2 goals tonight.
Well, without a doubt, yeah. But I think, you know, he's moved on from that scenario, isn't he? And it's proved to him personally, it's been a great move for him. And he's confident. There's, as we said before, there's always been a player inside there. It's just about getting it, and I think he's found his position now.
Yeah, and as I said to him, we were having that conversation at Wolves on Saturday about sharing the goals around because he hasn't got the Haaland or the Salah.
Yes.
And Trossard, again, I mean, his second top scorer. He scored some big goals this season for Arsenal.
Obviously, he's scored a few goals coming off the bench. I think he's got 6 coming off the bench, but like I said earlier on, he's one of our best finishers. And when you look at this situation, Thomas Partey, I thought, had a very good game. You know, Trossard really hugging the line and Declan Rice driving at them, committing the Chelsea defenders, and that is just pure power, driving it through them. You can see Havertz, like you mentioned, Gaffer, nice the way he's come off of there into Thomas Partey, first time touch, and Declan Rice in that position, what Thomas Partey frees him up to be in. Perfect time to lay it off, and then it was about, can he get the power to really drive this through the keeper? And yeah, he could, and that's 4 minutes, and that is a brilliant start for Arsenal.
That goal was actually, sums Arsenal up. It epitomises the style of play, the tactics and the system that they've got, with those players just waiting. And sometimes, you know, your number 9, if he arrives in the box, he's a number 9, but Tonight he was coming off
Yeah.
and linking the play really, really well, Havertz. And you need that focal point sometimes. Everyone thinks you need a big number 9 to do that. Well, he's a tall lad, but he's a bit more elegant than that. And he held the ball up, and again, it's back to confidence. When you're back to play, you see pictures that perhaps when you're not playing so well, all you can see, you're worried about just getting control of the ball, keeping possession. No, he's gone above that now.
Yeah.
He's 3 or 4 legs above that. He's now looking up. He's got his head up. He's playing people in. Then he's getting in the penalty area.
Well, that move, that goal, the first goal in the first one, that doesn't happen. If he doesn't get into that position, then comes in to lay it off to Thomas Partey and lay it off with the kind of pace that he can play it first time to Declan Rice. You know, just seeing Kai Havertz and seeing him in the positions he's in the middle of the goals what he's scoring, on the edge of the box, he's got the skill, turn, look one way, put it the other. That kind of stuff, linking the play like the gaffer's saying, he's doing the job that we actually need him to do now.
But whether you've got a number 9 that drifts in there and drops off them, or you play with a false 9, that's why a false 9 works nowadays, if you've got the right players. Those centre-backs cannot go in there.
Yeah.
If they go in there, there's a massive hole, and your outside men then fly in there and create space for them. They have to stand in them gaps. And if they go in, it's at your own peril, because you've left with one central defender and runners making runs in behind that number 9, or no number 9, you don't know who to mark. So there's no one to mark, so you're not going to go in there right into midfield when you're outnumbered. That's why it works so well in modern football, because there's so many passes nowadays, you can achieve that easier. Back in the day, if it was coming from front to back, you couldn't do that.
No. I just think that what Arsenal showed again with the ruthlessness in the way that Havertz came off and passed it. The thing you can't do with an Arsenal is not be in their face. You got to make it uncomfortable for them. I thought, obviously, scoring when you score, the confidence is going to flow through the team. But there was times in that game where you could see that they look a bit leggy. They looked a bit tired. You know what I mean? Or coming inside a bit. And Chelsea obviously couldn't take advantage of that. But then once Arsenal got going again and started playing, obviously after the second goal as well, you could see them get some fresh impetus and go again. Ødegaard started doing his bit. He looked like he was putting on a bit of a show. There's movement. Chelsea's players were deflated. And then it was a case of how many could they score.
Yeah, I think looking at that game, assessing that game, as you rightly said, Ian, the first half Chelsea were always in that. They were looking a bit down. Half-time came at a perfect time for Arsenal to get back down the tunnel in the dressing room. And Mikel didn't allude to it too much, but I think there would have been some stronger words said at half-time about, look, we haven't put this team away.
Yeah.
You've got to go out there and be ruthless. My word, them players went out and listened to their manager and were ruthless with some creative football. They really, the goals were, take away Chelsea's second half performance, they created some lovely goals there with the play that they had and the passing and the movement.
I'm interested in your point about when Thomas Partey's in the team. We know what Declan Rice can do in that role.
Yeah.
And Declan's come out and said, hasn't he, publicly, that he enjoys what Mikel wants him to do further forward. And you were impressed tonight with that particular element to Declan Rice.
Yeah, because Declan Rice, he can play the 6. We've seen him do it for England. We've seen him do it for Arsenal. But when you have got someone like Thomas Partey to give him the freedom to go forward and do that, look, he's got goals in him as well. He's big, he's strong, he's progressive with the ball. He can run with the ball. He can spot this kind of situations in the final third. I thought that ball needed to be a bit further in his path. Gaffer, he's still got the shot off, but he's a little bit behind him. But he's showing what he's capable of doing as a number 8 on that left side, being able to win the ball back in those kind of areas and then go back in and join in again.
I think that's the key. When you let him off the leash a little bit and he can play like an 8 and he can get himself forward, get him ahead of the ball when he's playing deeper in the 6 mile. But when he does win the ball, like we've just showed, he's further up the pitch, and like you've said.
Yes.
It's in the lethal position. You nick it there. If you nick it in front of the centre-backs, you've still got a base to play. There's 6 passes probably. But if you win it in the last third, my word. And he's got that little bit of Patrick Vieira running in.
Yes, it was
that surge,
drive,
that little run with drive with the ball.
This is Chelsea. It's poor from them, but again, he's hit it into the right area, Gaffer. But Ben White's finish is good. But again, he's shown what he's capable of doing when he's in that attacking third of the pitch. He can really make things happen for Arsenal.
Look at the amount of times he's touched the ball. And you can see he enjoys that role, Glenn, as well.
I think he does. I think he can play both. That's a good thing. But I think that's why he made the move to go to an Arsenal, to say, look, I've got a little bit more about me if I'm playing with the right players. Yeah. And if Jorginho plays in there, he can still do the same role as Partey. So that's where that balance. If those two are injured or they're fatigued or whatever, one's out injured, one's fatigued, he can then be the sitter, like he probably will have to be for England.
Yeah.
You know, because of the players we've got in midfield. So he can play both. But I'll tell you what, the key to it, he plays both 9 out of 10. Yeah. Let's be fair.
So as a manager, to put him in either position and know exactly you're going to get those levels.
You know what you're going to get with Declan Rice week in and week out. That's why he's probably one of the most effective players in the Premier League. We're talking about Palmer, of course, Foden, the likes of creative players. But if you're going to go 38 games a season with cup games on top, you'd put your hat on him every single time.
Well, he's taken part in every. I think he started all but one Premier League games. And he came on in that one against Luton. So
I think that he said that he enjoys that because you're more involved in the game. You can do more. We saw all the aspects of his game there. We know that he could play the 6, he could break things up, pass it to people, and they can get on with it. But what we've seen today, especially with the first goal, you know, he's run maybe 20, 30 yards, and the pass to Trossard was perfect weight, perfect time, running into players at full pace, taking them on, and then playing a really good pass into Leandro Trossard, you know, because that's what he's capable of doing. He's passing, we saw his one-touch passing and moving. He's more involved in the game.
I think when he plays deeper as well, Ian, in this modern-day game, to go around and make crunching tackles, it's history. You can't do it anymore. Mistime it by a second, you're red card or you're a yellow. What he's great at is timing of the run, timing of the closing down, and he just pinches your pocket. So he's not making fouls as well. He will make a few fouls, of course, but he actually knows when to press. So you've got so many attributes from one player. It's quite incredible.
OK, Arsenal doing their job. Top of the league, 4 clear of City, 3 clear of Liverpool, who, of course, play in the Merseyside derby tomorrow, bringing you that on Match Day Live from Goodison Park. And I mentioned the difference in the goal difference with those goals tonight. Who knows if it'll come down to that. 4 left to play for Arsenal. Huge North London derby, the biggest in years, away at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Sunday. Home games against Bournemouth and Everton, and a trip to Old Trafford. And then they can only watch, as Mikel Arteta said on Thursday, to see what City do at Brighton. Now, listen, they're the treble winners, they're the reigning champions, they've won 3 in a row. But they wouldn't be human if a tiny bit of extra pressure was placed on them, 4 points behind now.
Well, of course, because the thing is, they have to still win the games. We know that they're capable of winning the games, but all Arsenal can do, like we heard Leandro Trossard say then, Ben White, is to win their games now. That's what Arsenal had to do before the Villa game. They had to keep winning those games. Hopefully that won't come back to bite them because it was a poor result for them. But we know that City, in those games, are probably capable of beating all of them. So you have to win all your games. And you've got there's no wiggle room for you, because if they and City now, we'll see what they are. If you know, everybody says, well, they know what they're doing at this stage of the season, they know how to do it. They're going to have to do it again, and they have to prove to us, we've done this before, and this is what we do. So they're going to have to win all of those games, because I'm looking at those games, and obviously Tottenham, the North London derby is a tough game. I think Man United away is always going to be a tough game. But I still think Arsenal are capable of winning all 4 of those games. But so is City capable of winning all 6 of them. Yeah,
you look at City's fixtures, they're the easier fixtures. And I'm looking at Forest. Forest have got to get points. So that comes maybe a little bit open game. They've got to go for it. You know, Tottenham, when they play Tottenham have got to go for it if they're still in the hunt for the Champions League. Whereas, maybe Brighton play that way anyway. If they're at home, they're going to be playing a pretty open game. Although, they'll try and tuck the belt in a bit against City. You have to. But they still emphasise on going forward. So those games, I'm seeing the opposition not only on paper, but I'm thinking what they've got to play for. I don't see many points drop there from City.
No. Tottenham are going to play a part. Well, they've got to play all 3.
They are. They've got to play Liverpool as well, And I think Villa have got to play Liverpool and Man City as well. So they've beaten Arsenal, Villa. So they're going to have a big say for themselves, obviously. But for the running, it's not over yet by any means.
Can you see a scenario, both of you, where we get to the final day and all 3 of them are in with a sniff?
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah. Because, but somewhere along the...
You don't want that, do you?
I don't know if I
You
want
have to think about that.
No, because if it comes down to the last game and it's Everton at home in the last game, you probably fancy Arsenal. If it came down to that, obviously you've got West Ham, I think, the last game of the season.
Could be David Moyes' final game.
I still think that there's maybe, I don't know, somewhere along the line, I'm praying that someone could cause City a problem or Liverpool a problem so that it can come down to it. Because if it comes down to it, then it's goal difference.
You might need Tottenham to do you a favour.
Might need Tottenham. And if Tottenham could do us a favour, honestly...
Well, they've got to play City and Liverpool, haven't they?
I just want Tottenham to do the best they can, because Tottenham deserve to be in the top 4 as well.
This is what it comes down to. These are the margins.
I love it.
Oh, dear. I'll have to replay that at the end of the season. Right, when we come back, we will talk the other side of the story. Well, he was very honest there, Conor Gallagher. It was their first defeat in 9 Premier League games tonight. I mean, he was getting asked about banners and all kinds there at the end.
Yeah, because somebody's gone on with the banner there. I don't know, it was a young kid as well. But you got to look and say, come semi-final at the weekend, they put the hard graft in. No doubt about it. They were very unfortunate not to win that game. Chelsea's whole season is not about whether they're putting the hard work in and fighting for the shirt. It's about the lack of quality at the end of the pitch, the finishing. We said it before the game, we showed clips of it, we knew Palmer wasn't going to play. They just haven't taken their chances. Tonight, Ian, was exactly the same. They had some good chances, good opportunities in and around, particularly first half. And they look like a side that, if those chances are not taken, I mean, Ian, this is the one for me.
I can't understand it. I don't know. I can't fathom it. The only thing I can think is he think he's going to get kicked in the face? If that's the case, why is he holding the other arm?
He does.
Why aren't you just looking at the ball just to head it in? Defender's made a mistake. He's in. I'm thinking to myself, right, across the keeper. Yeah. He's taken a touch. He could go there now. He still takes a touch. He could still go there, lift it over the keeper. I can't understand that finish. Now, you look at someone like Mauricio Pochettino, he cannot be held accountable for that kind of finishing. I think when you look at the season and the amount of chances, Gaffer, they've missed throughout the season, they'll be thinking of Chelsea in a different way now. They wouldn't have a banner like that, because I wouldn't question their work rate, Chelsea. No. It's just that they've got a lack of organisation, a lack of experience, and it's not a lack of effort. They're missing too many chances.
Yeah, I think their season also, they've had a lot of injuries in the same unit. That back 4... Mauricio has had to change that back 4 so many different times. They've had no basis.
And the keeper as well.
The keeper as well. So they've had no basis to go from and get those clean sheets that Arsenal have earned it, because they've worked at it. But if you're changing, the right back comes out and the left back comes out, that centre half comes out, and you're never getting that continuity together, then you've got a base to go on. And then if you do miss them chances, at least you've still got to just take one. Yes. At the moment, they're missing 3 or 4 a game. And you can't keep going like that and expect to get that consistency. They are a young group of players, but at this moment in time, it's like first half, without Palmer, they're still in the game. At 1-0, they're still in the game. They've had some balls flashed across the box, they've had half chances, and then you're going, right, can you do that again, young men out there in a big game? They couldn't do it. They did it for 45 minutes, and that's the difference. Maybe in a season's time or early next season, mid-season, things might have clicked and they might have that experience in there to achieve it for 90 minutes against a good side going away or going for the Premier League. They are not ready to do that. It's not that they're not working hard. They're probably overworking in many ways because they're a little bit naive.
No, I totally agree with the Gaffer. I think it's a tough one, because you look at Mauricio Pochettino and, he just looks like bereft. Because, again, the semi-final, the chances, and I'm going back to the chances, simply because this is how close it is for a manager to either be in a job or be out of a job. And when you look at the amount of chances they've missed, you could go back through the season. They've been doing it for literally most of the season. They'll be looking at Chelsea in a different way right now if they've taken those. I can't say much more than that. Obviously, the defence and the fact that they've been moved around so many times. Thiago Silva, the age he is now, there's no experience in that team. You heard Conor Gallagher say it there. There's not enough experience in the team. And then when you get into a situation like they were with Arsenal, not only have they missed the chances, but they weren't able to have somebody on the pitch that could say, let's drop in for 5, let's frustrate Arsenal for a bit, And then when we come out in the second half, we do it a bit, get the crowd on them a bit. We've got the pace up front to cause them problems, and we see if we can get something there. But they didn't even have the capability of doing that.
OK, well, talking of the manager, here he is. Let's get his thoughts. The Chelsea boss, Mauricio Pochettino.
That, isn't it? Were you disappointed with the way your players started the game?
No, it's not difficult to explain. I think in the way I think everyone saw that we didn't compete from the beginning of the game. After I think we conceded, I think the team was so soft, so so disappointed with the start, because I think supposed to have a full energy and compete better. I think in the way that we lose the ball, and always the first and second ball that away. We were not aggressive and not concentrate in situations that were so easy to find the solution. That is why we are so disappointed. I am so disappointed. And then when in the first half, I think we repose after. I think we recovered from this start so low. We create some chances. We had some chances, but then in the second half we were talking on the halftime and to start in a different way. But we start really bad, and in 10-15 minutes in the first half, and in 10-15 minutes in the second half, I think the team, when we concede the third goal, I think give up and was tough for them, and the team start to suffer to go to the end of the game.
Is it an excuse that Disasi's missed a couple of games? Barry Shield's been out for a while for you. Is that an excuse that they lack minutes?
That is the circumstance that we had in the team, and that we cannot change. I think to compete, we competed really, really well Saturday against Manchester City. I think it was a fantastic game. But and then we are not consistent. 3 days after, I think we were suffering. We were not fresh, or maybe, and we want to refresh the team with different players that didn't play, but wasn't enough. Yes, all the circumstances maybe are the why we are not consistent. No?
Obviously, you're going to miss Cole Palmer. He's been brilliant for you this season. I just wonder how much Malo Gusto was missed tonight, because he's had a sensational season.
Now it's not fair to talk about the players that we are missing, but we are missing from the beginning of the season too many players, every single week, and that is why today I think competing, one team competing for the Premier League and another. With circumstances that we have, I think yes, in the moment that was the game was difficult, 3-0 for them. I think in this moment the team showed lack of capacity to resist. That was a problem.
Arsenal play very good football. They were superb tonight. You've got big teams coming up as well, haven't you? Around the corner, Aston Villa away. Aston Villa been.
Of course, Arsenal is a very good team. But I not agree that I think we allowed them to play. I think we gave all the possibility to play and to create chances. That is why we are disappointed, because in the moment that we increased our level and we were a little bit more aggressive, I think the game was in some part of the game was an even game, But I think it's too inconsistent also, during the season, during 90 minutes we were very inconsistent today, and to keep the energy, and the energy that you need if you want to be competitive.
Will Cole Palmer be back for the weekend?
We don't know. We need to assess tomorrow and after tomorrow.
Will you expect a reaction at the weekend from your players after a 5?
We'll see. We'll see the squad that we have. We'll see if today some player more maybe have some problems. We need to deal with this situation. We'll see. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you can hear Mauricio Pochettino's frustration in his voice. Glenn, I just wonder, I mean, you've been in that position. Given what's been thrown at him, and given all the inconsistencies that you've mentioned, could anyone be doing any better in this situation?
Well, I think the results
Chelsea
could have been better, in the sense that they if they become clinical, if they take their chances, it's a different story.
Has he got clinical players, though?
They haven't, no. You've got to be honest and say there's too many players. The players, like for the three top clubs, for Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City, the players that step in, early in the season, Martinelli was playing superb, and you're thinking, how's Trossard ever going to get in this Arsenal team? Well, later on in the season, he's been a massive plus. And when he comes in, he steps in, and you don't see the team deficiency in their performance. It's the same for City. If De Bruyne don't play, someone come. And Liverpool have got the same squad. Chelsea are on this rebuild, and they've had some injuries as well. Like I've said, the back four has always been changed, and he's had no solid sort of back four that he could hang his hat on, and then the team go and play. And if there are missing chances up there, the back four says, OK, if you don't take your chances, we're not going to concede. That hasn't been Chelsea all this season. They've been so inconsistent, and there's no better results than they win 6-0 at home. They go and play well in the semi-final against City, and then they go and get beat 5-0 tonight. And I was surprised because City away at the Etihad, they were superb in their tactics. They sat in against City and they broke on them. They got a draw there, but it could have gone either way, and they created a lot of chances. And I was surprised they didn't do this today at Arsenal, particularly without their talisman in Palmer.
Yeah, the thing is that when you saw the way they played, even when we played them at Stamford Bridge, is that they played a bit like that. They pressed high, they won the ball high. They didn't have that same energy, but at the same time, they didn't drop in. They didn't make it difficult for Arsenal. Arsenal's problem has been when a team, what we saw with Bayern Munich and Villa, is a mid-block. I thought that might have happened today, where they just kind of stifled Arsenal and get Arsenal where they feel very vulnerable, and that was in that mid. They never done it. They were comfortable all the way through that game. They didn't press them high. They broke that press very easy, and then they were into them. And this is why you saw the goal in the first 4 minutes. I thought that's what they would have done as well. They would have been low block with the pace to break, but I still have to look at the manager and wonder what they're working on in training in respect of who they're coming up against. Because what you said about the City, they done it at City. They low block, they broke, they looked half decent team. They looked very good. I can't understand how you can come to Arsenal and not have the same game plan when you know that can frustrate and it can work for you and it can play into your strength as well. The pace you've got up front.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that didn't happen. I was expecting them to drop in a little bit and make it difficult because they didn't drop on the edge of their 18-yard box. They made themselves really tight where it was hard to get in behind them, but they weren't going to go pressing too high. They didn't do one or the other today. You didn't say, we couldn't analyse it and say, look at their pressing. They're hunting the ball together. I'm not sure they had the energy left. I'm not sure they had the players yet in sync to do that. So realistically, it's a tough game. Arsenal away, they're going for the league. Drop in, make yourself tight, make yourself difficult to play against. Let them have the ball up there and then hit them on the break. Jackson's got pace, as we saw in the first half a couple of times, and then get bodies forward from that position. And you might have just picked a certain team to play that way. But I think, he said there, Maurizio said, we started so poorly and we started the second half after the talk at half-time poorly. Now, with youngsters, is that fear? Is there too much fear in there? Or is it a lack of character and a lack of experience? Because your opponents are going to come at you in those period of time when they're at home, early in the game, and then in the second half, Mikel would have had a little pop at Arsenal, I think, behind them doors, just to say, we've got to put this team to bed. And they did.
It's interesting, Gaffer, when you say, is it fear and that? They seem like we saw one of the big incidents with the penalty thing with people fighting for the ball. Now, when you've got that kind of energy and that kind of confidence because you want that, and you can do that in front of a whole crowd of fans, when we're not talking about two players are pulling trees up in respect of their performances.
Yeah, it's true.
So when you look at their dressing room and you see players have got the confidence, and let's face it, the neck to do that to the best player in the team, but then when you really need, they're not turning up. And then you're looking at a manager that's got to manage those players who... They seem to me like their minds are not properly in what they need to do. If you're thinking about taking a penalty at 4-0, but you come to Arsenal and you almost disappear and miss chances, there's something wrong. There's something massively wrong in that dressing room.
Yeah, I think it's a good example because reflecting back on that, it doesn't matter if you're 10-0 up or 10-0 down. Palmer's the penalty taker.
Yeah.
And by the way, he scored 8 out of 8.
Yeah.
It's not like he's missed a couple as his last ones. You could maybe say they might have a case, but no way. Because it was 4-0, they're thinking, I want to be on the score sheet. He should have been the first one to run and get the ball and give it to Palmer.
Give it to Palmer,
and say, let's get him. That's the little bit of the...
A telltale sign in there.
Culture.
The killer instinct that they haven't got.
Yes.
They haven't got that killer instinct. When you've got your foot on their throat, don't let him off. You know, whether it's 5-0, 6-0, it doesn't matter. If he's the penalty taker, you give him the ball.
That says to me they want it easy.
That says a lot about the whole scenario.
That's what that says to me.
Yeah.
Taking a penalty at 4-0, fighting for it, you want it easy when I could just get one to take one from 12 yards. You want it easy. It's not easy. Especially when you come somewhere like Arsenal and you haven't got your best player. You need to show up. You need to show.
6-0, and then you lose 5. There's no real consistency, is there, about this young Chelsea group?
Absolutely. The fans, sitting around waiting to see the manager after that win over their London rivals. They are delighting in that victory. So it was a perfect start to the second half, Martin, and then Kai Havertz got the third for Arsenal on the night. The ball from Ødegaard, though, was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, Ødegaard was absolutely immense tonight in his performance. You know, he just, I mean...
Is that a foul?
For me, I think it is. When you look at it really closely, I don't know whether there's a levelling up going on there because of the Jackson foul first half, but look at that for a ball.
Wow.
But this guy here does everything else from there. He holds off the defender, he just bullies him. We're just going to take another look at it. At first, I thought Gabriel was hit there by his opponent, but then he wraps an arm around him, and you think, OK, he's lucky to get away with it. These things happen, but this ball, look, round the corner, into space. Cucurella there, look, he's got him on toes, he just holds him off, bullies him, and then lifts it over the goalkeeper. It's a beautiful finish.
Do these things happen, Rio, or is that a clear foul in the build-up to that goal? It was checked, it was cleared, and we believe the feeling was it was too far back and it was a coming together.
Yeah, I think it's a foul, but listen, at the end of the day, I don't think Chelsea deserved to get anything out of this game. They were second best all over the game. This was men against boys today. Yes, Chelsea had the youngest team they've ever put out in a game in the Premier League against Arsenal today. But at the same time, it doesn't always play out. Young players sometimes go out there a bit of fearlessness. They've been good in big games in recent weeks and in this season. But today, I just thought they were way off it. No Palmer. They were men against boys, and they got absolutely destroyed today.
And you said before the game that Kai Havertz would really enjoy if he could get one over on his former side, Martin. He got his second goal as well. Did you like the finish for that one?
Very good, clinical. You know, there was a suggestion when he first came here that he was a little bit passive in the way that he played, but nothing passive about his performance tonight. I mean, it's a wonderful finish. Great awareness that he shows, ghosting into that area again, finds the space, little touch, and then just lifts it, doesn't he? Just buries it in that bottom corner through the almost through the legs of the opponent. Great finish from him, and tonight I thought it was outstanding. Get him off as quick as possible. Huge game coming up against Spurs at the weekend. You need to protect him.
But it can be really kind of like nerve-wracking when you go play against your former team as well. He's not long been at Chelsea. He comes here. They're obviously fighting for the league, but your desire, you're so desperate to score and impose yourself against your former team. They can become nerve-wracking. You can misplace that nerves. But here's the manager coming. You can hear the cheers from him coming in now, Mikel.
The cheers from the crowd. Mikel Arteta here tonight. Congratulations, Mikel. Arsenal's biggest ever win over Chelsea. 5 goals scored, back-to-back wins, another clean sheet. What are you most proud of tonight?
Well, very happy, first of all, with the win, with the amount of chances and goals that we scored. And for the clean sheet as well, that it shows, again, the consistency of the team.
What was your message at half-time? Because you got off to a brilliant start, but Chelsea had settled into the game, and it was very much hanging in the balance at half-time.
Yeah, we weren't disciplined enough in a few things that we did, especially with the ball and then defending the box. We had to be more disciplined, basically, to do the right things. We did in the second half. We created many chances as well, and especially we defended much better the box.
Mikel, the second goal we just spoke about it there. It was from a corner, and the edge of the box. There was no Chelsea players coming out there. Did you identify that from the first corner? We know you've got a set-piece guru in there who's doing a wonderful job this year.
Yes, absolutely. And, yeah, when teams defend with more men or they change their shape, especially to defend the box, obviously the outside is a bit more open, credit to the players as well to identify and then executing it perfectly.
Wonderful.
Mikel, I want to talk to you about Martin Ødegaard. Yeah. He had 6 seasons but only 11 appearances at Real Madrid, and you saw something in him. What was it? I mean, he was magnificent tonight, but you saw it first. You get credit for you.
He was a child wonder kid.
We saw, and Edu especially as well was very insistent, and we both agreed that he was a player with a huge talent that he could develop with us, and yeah, we had the long period. He was exceptional already. We were so convinced that he could add something special to the team, and he keeps growing.
Did you? We knew. I think everyone could see the talent that he had. He was obviously a child wonder kid at 15 years old and snapped up by Real Madrid. But Has anything surprised you about his personality and character and his ability to hold the captaincy armband with such aplomb?
Yeah, because that's always a question, how you handle a different role when you have to stand in front of everybody, you have to represent the club, and he's done it in an amazing way. So natural, he's loved by everybody. He's not someone that's going to be knocking on your door and shouting, but the way he lives his game and the love that he has got for this game, I think it's more than enough to convince everybody to follow him.
What was the message in the dressing room after the game? Plenty of rest, prepare exactly the same as you did before this one, and on towards Spurs now?
Congratulate them for the performance, for making our supporters proud and happy. It's a big London derby and we know what it means for them as well, and it was a joy to watch them play, and rest, enjoy today, and on to Spurs now.
Mikel, we've looked at all your second half goals, but not the fifth goal. Did Ben White mean it? What was your view of it?
Just a question for him. From the touchline, I haven't seen it back. From the touchline, it didn't seem like he wanted to put the ball in that space, but I don't know, I might be wrong.
You kind of give it away with your celebration, actually. But no, nonetheless, he was brilliant. That was a real problem for Chelsea tonight because he kept getting down that right-hand side and they just couldn't deal with him.
Yeah, it's a brilliant ball from Martin as well.
What's it like around the training ground at the moment? We spoke to you before the games. Obviously, controlling the nerves on these run-ins is very difficult. What is it? Do the guys seem relaxed, or is there sometimes do you have to sometimes calm the guys down after exactly a performance like today, or what's your role in this?
Well, what I would like is that they can manage themselves in the dressing room, and I think in order to achieve that, I think you have to leave some space. They know what we're playing for. They are so excited about it. They are so at it. All of them is the players that they haven't played much. They have a very important role and they've been outstanding. And I think that's what it holds the team and glides the team together. And yeah, my role is to keep demanding, basically challenging them, demanding them, and as well in the right moments making them believe that they can do it, because I think that's a very important thing as well.
Will you put your feet up now and watch the rest of the football this week?
Yeah, very soon. We have a lot of games still coming up. The Sunday one is going to be a tough one against the top side again, as we know. So let's enjoy tonight and let's go back to work.
You can certainly enjoy it. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
It certainly looks like he has them believing, doesn't it? Because so many questions were asked after that week, losing to Villa, out of the Champions League. Is it going to be a similar situation to last April? But they've answered emphatically in the last two games.
Up to now they have, yeah. But what I would say is that it just seems to be an air of confidence, steeliness. And you can see, I think there's been a learning from last year. I think his composure in the week that we had the week before this, where they lost against Villa and they lost against Bayern Munich going out of the Champions League, you wouldn't kind of be up in arms if the wheels had fallen off. You'd just go, you know what, I kind of expected that. But the way he's regained composure himself, but also his team on the pitch, has been something for me, I think, a newfound respect for him at this stage. Yes, they've still got a lot of work to do, and they've still yet to get over the line and win a league. But just even that little area, I think, is a big shift from last season.
Yeah,
What went wrong for your team out there tonight?
Well, I think we started the game not so well. I think we conceded the goal, and then it was difficult for us to recover for this goal. And then I think the team, yes, and I think in the first half we compete after 10-15 minutes. We were talking on the halftime that we cannot approach the game and start the game how we started in the first half, but we start again showing too low energy and didn't compete in the way that we need to compete. And then when we conceded the third goal, I think it was so easy for Arsenal to manage the game, and for us it was difficult to fight for an objective. And I think that is described the first 15 minutes and the first 15 minutes of the second half. I think we lose the game in there.
You created opportunities in the first half, so why do you think you weren't able to get a breakthrough?
But I think you need to be clinical. I think like against Manchester City 3 days ago, and I think we created too many chances, but we didn't concrete, and we were not clinical. Today the same thing happened. Yes, I think so difficult result, so difficult performance, because I think it's not nice to see your team playing like this from the beginning of the game when you're supposed to have full energy. Yes, that is inconsistency. After 3 days, when you play a fantastic game against Manchester City, today is about to feel so disappointed with the game and with the performance.
You were forced to make changes to your team tonight as well. What was the most difficult part about playing without Cole Palmer?
Yeah, I think we cannot say now that that was the reason because we lose the game, but yeah, you lose a player that is a creative player that helped to link all the lines of the team. But the most difficult thing is the circumstance that we are losing player, and that is made very difficult the management. But I think today, more than that, more than the circumstances, we didn't compete from the beginning, and then it was difficult to be on the game. Again, a team that is fighting for the Premier League. We need to. It's not a coincidence that is there. That is why we need to be aware that we need to compete in a different way. But we are talking too much, during this season. I think it's enough to talk, and of course that all the information that we are receiving now is if we want to be in a different position next season, we need to take decisions.
How important is it that you qualify for Europe next season?
Now it's difficult to see the future because after this game we feel all disappointed. Difficult to talk about objective that if we no compete, it's difficult to talk. If we compete like Saturday, okay, against Manchester City, but competing today, I think we deserve to go to Europe. I think in this way, no?
Thanks, Mauricio.
You're welcome.
Well, Joe Cole is back. It's like a revolving door tonight.
I was in the back of the cab ready to go home, but they told me I've got to come back to work.
You just didn't want to hear Mikel Arteta talking about that 5-0 win.
It's a bit like Chelsea's team who went missing.
Yeah.
Wow. Shots are being fired. Shots are being fired.
All I will say, Lindsay, is
it's too soon.
I tell you what, I heard fireworks from the Arsenal fans. I think that's a bit early with five games to go. Celebrations were a bit too much.
They probably feel it was a title win performance tonight.
Yeah.
Mauricio Pochettino, though, said they lost it in the first 15 minutes of the first half and the second half. Obviously, they didn't have Cole Palmer tonight, but what do you think ultimately cost them?
Ultimately, what we talked about before the game, dealing with the different spells, the different seasons of a game, if you like. Early on, you're coming away to Arsenal, you've got two of your best performers in Gusto and Palmer out the side, you've got a young kid coming in at fullback. He needs to be protected, they need to be at it. For the first goal, Havertz just wanders into space. Both centre-halves leave him go in there. He lays it back. That sets the tone. Maduaki's in a slightly out position. And all of a sudden, Declan Rice is running at Alfie Gilchrist. He turns him inside. And they concede a goal. They come back in the game with a little bit of quality. But ultimately, in them crucial moments in the game, they didn't show enough maturity. So I think it's frustrating for the manager. You can hear that in his voice. Next game against Villa is crucial because they have to bounce back. It has to be a better performance. My phone's been blowing up. The fans message me. So I think there's losing the game, and then there's losing the game to your London rivals in that fashion. And I think that really sticks with the fans. I really do.
None of us, I think, will be surprised if come the weekend Chelsea get a result against Villa. This is the way this Chelsea team are. But I don't.
Well, they went from a 6-0 win to a 5-0 defeat.
Yeah.
That kind of sums them up.
Exactly, that's them in a nutshell. But what I would say is that I think Mauricio Pochettino, when he gets an appraisal done at the end of the season, I think that would be one of the first things he says. What do you expect? I've got one of the youngest squads around. I've invested in loads of potential. Not real end product all over the park. You can sort of say one of the youngest teams they've put out in a London derby. Yeah. And we were saying before, where's the experience when there's going to be a rocky moment in this game, which inevitably there are in every game? Where are the people and the characters that are going to drag the younger players along and say, follow me? The main one was on the bench today, Thiago Silva, but he's 38 years old.
He's out of contract in the summer as well. You would expect him probably to go. Is that what is missing? They've got to get that experience sprinkled through the side.
Of course, the balance of recruitment has been wrong, and they spent a fortune, £1 billion worth of signings. It's unbelievable. There has to be some harsh words, and it has to be from the manager as well. He's tripping him over himself not to have a go at these players. I see that, he's mindful, but the messages are not there for the players. Poor start to the match, both halves. You look at the set piece, and that's down as well as much to the management it is to the players.
Well, I would say if you spend £1 billion on potential, then you can't sack the manager then, because you can't expect results immediately when you're buying potential the way they have. So I'm really interested to see how this summer goes with in terms of the management situation.
The patience is wearing thin with the fans, definitely, and clearly there's not a feeling that it's all down to inexperience as well. There was a banner in the crowd tonight saying, "I don't want your shirt."
First bite. That's a Lancashire we'd have.
That was damning. That's damning.
I mean, that kid's right back before he's come to the game as well. So
do you reckon he wrote it?
Well, it's better handwriting than mine, actually, so he may have done. Listen, it's hard. Like, Rio's right in the sense that it's raw now for Chelsea fans. They'll be 5-0, they'll be throwing things at the telly at home, and they'll be, cursing everything. But ultimately, Chelsea are 8 points better off at this stage than they was last year. So
But they conceded, Joe, 57 goals this season.
I mean, it's telling.
That's their most ever in a Premier League.
That's the biggest defeat ever to an Arsenal team.
Yeah, I mean, you can't defend that. But they're young. If you buy all potential, you can see the logic. If you're sitting there in the recruitment going, we'll buy this one at 21 and this one at 22, and at 25 and 26 they'll be worth double because it doesn't work like that. When you're in you can have a really talented player lose himself, where he comes into a team where it doesn't quite work out, and there's no one around him teaching him them lessons.
So you look at the team that's been the best team in Europe at the moment in terms of results, unbeaten by Leverkusen. They've got a lot of young players in that squad. What's one of the main signings that he brought in last season?
He brought in, experience.
Xhaka. Xabi Alonso went to the market and bought Xhaka, who's 32, 33 years old. Experience.
And Hoffman. There was 3 or 4, exactly that.
Yeah,
Chelsea may want to look at some guy called Kai Havertz, perhaps. Well, actually, Conor Gallagher was asked to respond to that banner by Jules, so let's get his thoughts.
Ooh. A young Chelsea fan held up a banner that said, "I don't want your shirt, I want you to fight for ours." How does it feel to know that there are some supporters that don't feel like the team are putting the effort in?
Well, we definitely are putting the effort in. I know how much it means to all the boys, but I know it's been said many times. It's a very young squad with not much experience as a team in the Premier League, and as you've seen this season, we've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs as well. And we're still improving and working together as a team to get to that next level. And today was one of them days where we just were nowhere near it, and we need to just kind of dust ourselves off, but also look at the performance and where we can improve, and all the mistakes we made where we can put it right, and just get ready for the next one.
George, you want to comment on Conor Gallagher's thoughts there? It's
a difficult question for him to ask, because he would see the work that's going on the training pitch, and it's going to see. Maybe they've got it right. Maybe they've come up against an Arsenal team tonight that are just better than them, But it's a difficult thing, because by the way, him as a player, you can never level them questions. I don't think any Chelsea fan will ever level that him personally. But I think there'll be other players in the squad. Body language. When I think about are they working hard, I think of things like body language. Like one thing, what can you control as a footballer? You're going through a tough time. Things are not. The fans are upset. The fans pay their money. They can have an opinion. That is absolutely their right. So what can you control? You can your body language. If you go a goal down, puff your chest out. 2 goals down. Still make that run to shut someone down. Still encourage your teammates. Still flying into tackles.
It says exactly where Chelsea are, though, doesn't it? A young 23-year-old, inexperienced footballer is having to come out and kind of back questions off like that about the fans and the way they feel about the club. Normally, you'd see an experienced, not
he's leading the group,
international captain coming out and speaking on behalf of Chelsea players.
Is one player that, Palmer has been magnificent, but he's been the other one that's
We haven't got long left, so let's give Martin his moment of glory before we go.
Yes, let's not forget Arsenal.
Let's go back
you get
to
carried
Arsenal
away, go
before
on.
we go. It was a 5-0.
He won't dive in.
What message has that sent out in this title race?
But when you look at Spurs at the weekend, it's always one of those very difficult games in any season.
I need more confidence,
and
man.
Manchester United away.
Are you going to win the league?
They're quite like Chelsea, aren't they?
Are you going to win the league?
We're in that race, fella. And this is the second year on the trot.
Do defences still win you titles, Rio?
Yep, I think they do. They do. They give you the best chance possible. But he had one of the best defences when he played, and they lost the league that year.
98, 99, only conceded 17 goals.
Right.
26 clean sheets.
I knew you'd get that in. I knew you'd get that in.
You lot can continue to reminisce. Let's...